Hi, welcome to the Holism video blog, and today I'm going to take you through a warm-up sequence for the hip joint that's designed to maximise range of movement and increase strength output at end range of movement. So once again, I'm talking about controlled articular rotations, or CARs. Now, we're going to perform a simple, I say simple looking CAR for the hip joint in quadruped. Now we're going to use a biofeedback tool, which is going to get it's a simple trick, but it's going to make the brain really have to pay attention. And when the brain's paying attention, as I was saying before, it begins to calculate. When it calculates, it computes, and when it's computing, it looks to find ways, it looks to work out how it can possibly optimize or improve your movement, your function. It does that by laying down new connections or by forming new synaptic connections in the brain through the cerebellum and then out to the muscles. And when that happens, strength increases and range of movement can also increase. It will also clear up, because we're going to be bombarding the sensory cortex with a huge amount of sensory feedback. When that happens, the sensory cortices, again, paying attention, it begins to fine-tune the maps. It begins to fine-tune the sensory and the motor maps in the brain. And when the brain has a clearer picture of where the muscles are and what they can do, then it then can operate. The brain can operate the periphery more effectively, and you'll find that movement changes. So again, for a simple drill, these drills can improve movement really quickly. But the key is paying attention, and that has an energy cost attached to it. So first things first is we need to test and then retest. So I'm just going to go through a really simple glute range of movement test, and I'll go through a psoas range of movement test, and then we'll jump into the drill. So first things first, if I just go down into a simple 90-90 position, keep that at lead leg at 90, groin at 90, back leg at 90, with hands across, I can trying to keep my spine neutral, I can almost get my shoulders down to the ground. If I jump up into psoas, squeeze glutes, try and hold a bit of posterior pelvic tilt, and then from there, get the glute to drive myself as far forward. That's really starting to pull there now. So if I look and check that one, it looks like I am 5+ degrees in hip extension. So we'll see what that does. The drill is going to be performed in quadruped, and we're going to try and place a yoga block on the back. Now, you can place a yoga block on the back like so. That will be useful, but that's kind of level 1. That's beginner level. That's going to be difficult for it to tip off. You will still get some feedback from that. I can take the yoga block up like so, and again, then I'll get a little bit more feedback. If we want to get really crazy, we can take this yoga block and place it like so. And then so from here, I need to try and maintain and hold that yoga block on the back. Now straight away, I can feel that that's balancing. My brain needs to start paying attention to try and hold that exactly where it is. So first things first is I need to build tension. Fingers are going to grip the ground. I'm going to externally rotate. I'm going to pull the lats and the shoulders down. I'm going to brace through the midsection. From here, I can kick the toes down into the ground. And then without moving the spine, I'm going to need to pull the knee as far as I can, which is not going to be far if I can't borrow movement from the spine. And then attempting to keep the spine level, I'm going to abduct that leg as far as I can, internally rotate, and begin to take that one up as high as I can. Taking that one up into extension, I then have to really brace through the glutes. And I can feel the whole time my brain is trying to work out exactly where that hip joint is in space, exactly what angle the spine is at. It's constantly calculating, trying to make sure that yoga block doesn't fall. So we want to try and do about 3 reps, hopefully with no movement anywhere else in the chain. I'm starting to sweat a little bit with this one. Really brace the abdominals as I drive that up. I'll do one more. Going up, rotate around, trying to hold internal rotation, bracing the abdominals to maintain stability, and back to the start. Now you want to do about 3 reps. 5 reps is a big effort. So if I go back now into my lead leg, glute, 90-90, glute, and go dropping down, that is really easy. I can hold my spine in neutral, and I can reach out there. So I've got my arms further out so they're not hitting the ground. That's about where I was before. That feels very different. And if I jump up here into psoas, squeeze glutes and drive forward from there, keeping glute on, that's a little further. That's probably closer to the 10-degree mark. So 10 degrees of hip extension, pure hip extension, is a good result. Now, you can do that one exactly as I did it. I definitely recommend having some kind of biofeedback, as in we've used the yoga block for this one. A really common cheat strategy is to see people starting to sway their hips from side to side. You can block them by putting them at a wall, or you can sit at the side of them and you can hold them and make sure they don't actually cheat. So putting the hip up against that back wall and the shoulder as well would then stop me, if I was cheating, from swaying around. Whatever you need to do to increase the sensory feedback and make the brain really pay attention is where your result will come from. So have fun with it. Once again, be really creative with your consequences if that yoga block's going to fall off, and let us know how you get on.